Liberty Nation with Tim Donner.
It came in the twinkling of an eye for our 43rd president, George W. Bush. He'd arrived in the White House just 8 months before with the agenda which was supposed to define his presidency starting to gain steam. Domestic initiatives, tax cuts, economic growth, cultural renewal, and no nation building. It was a beautiful autumn Tuesday, and Bush was innocently reading a book to second graders in Sarasota, Florida. And then, the moment which will, like Pearl Harbor, live in infamy, the terrorist attacks of 9/11. We all remember that look in the eyes and soul of George W. Bush upon word of the second plane hitting the World Trade Center, his sudden realization that his presidency would now instantly transform to a wartime footing. Now, our 45th president likely didn't experience that type of single moment when he realized the entire focus of his administration would have to change. But it probably didn't take Donald Trump long to realize he'd now be challenged by this coronavirus in a way that made everything from Russia collusion to impeachment look like child's play. Let's not sugarcoat the landscape suddenly appearing before us. Donald Trump will be challenged down to his core in ways every president knows are possible, but precious few are forced to experience. FDR on December 7, 1941. Bush 43 on 9/11. LBJ on the day that JFK was assassinated. They were the modern-day presidents who fell victim to the sudden occurrence of national nightmares. Each of them passed the test set before them, not via a straight line, though, but rather through long and winding roads of calming the nation, demonstrating command, and making one hard call after another on a day-to-day basis. We shouldn't understate the emotional toll this must be exacting on this president. He's forced to stand by and watch an economy he's worked so hard to strengthen, the very centerpiece of his presidency, now tanking right before his eyes, with little he can do to stop it beyond the usual stimulative measures prescribed by government at a time of financial crisis, like near-zero interest rates and cash on the barrelhead for every American. Yes, the market could come roaring back once this crisis has passed, but we could also descend into a deep recession, along with the rest of the world we cannot control, with the election just around the corner. The fact is that nobody knows. Predicting human behavior during and after a panic is among the most perilous of all pursuits. On the other hand, could Trump actually ultimately benefit from the opportunity set before him to function in disaster and demonstrate a resolve in the face of a true national crisis? Can he prove to the American people that he does indeed possess skills he had previously not been required to demonstrate? Sure, but we're a long way from knowing the answer. Beyond that, the president is dealing with a crisis unique to our modern history in one profound way. It affects literally every single American. No person in this country, we're told, is immune from either carrying the virus, catching it, or suffering the fallout from its spread. The people of the South and the Heartland and the West were certainly emotionally rocked by Pearl Harbor, the JFK assassination, and 9/11, but those tragedies did not reach into their very homes as COVID-19 has done. And now, we have not just ourselves, but everyone else and the nation as a whole with whom to concern ourselves. And that's before we even stop to add up the inevitable carnage of shuttered businesses, lost jobs and wages, and the astronomical cost of recovery. Trump has proven repeatedly over his legendary life and times that he is nothing if not nimble, a quality now required of him every single day as he calls upon Americans to sacrifice, something no president ever wishes to do. But he's also being called upon to reach deep within himself and extract other skills not comfortably in his wheelhouse. Can he convince the American people that he's doing everything within his power and that he's in control of the situation? Can he keep the nation calm? Can he bring down the temperature of an elite media covering this crisis as if it was just another in a long line of Trump scandals? Crucially, can he win the confidence of so many Americans who find him repulsive? Can he demonstrate leadership to the point of building genuine national unity on a subject which every reasonable person agrees must be immune from political partisanship? Trump will also be required to swallow the bitter medicine of potentially reckless federal spending, as we talked about with Andrew Moran in the last segment, the equivalent of dropping cash out of airplanes, which will blast apart any semblance of fiscal or economic discipline and leave Trump and the Congress with a mighty mess to clean up when the dust clears. Trump's posture should properly be to eliminate partisanship from his own repertoire, as he's largely done these past 2 weeks, and publicly exhort leftists and their allies in the media to hit the pause button on their personal attacks so that a nation threatening to reach the breaking point can at least unite in the battle against this plague on all our houses. The anti-Trump media, the fourth estate, must get over itself for just a breath, and project to the nation the reality that we have only one president, like him or not. They need to refresh their understanding of why freedom of the press was granted in the Bill of Rights. It was for the crucial function of informing, not influencing the public. And rarely has that been more imperative than right now. Right now. As each day brings new problems and more infections and deaths and restrictions, we will surely find out much about this man we elected to shake up the status quo and who now most ironically finds himself desperately seeking to preserve it. Perhaps Barack Obama can sympathize, having run on a platform of fundamentally transforming America, but who was forced to employ drastic measures immediately upon taking office following the Great Recession of 2008, just to keep himself and the nation from sinking into the abyss. Indeed, Trump might be wise to seek advice and counsel and solace from the only 4 men who can truly understand what he's going through right now, having lived through the same pressure cooker of the hardest job in the world, and that would be the 4 living presidents, all of whom face more crises than any of us could possibly know. 3 of them, Obama, Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, are from the opposite party. But should that even matter right now? If George W. Bush and his bitter opponent, then Senate Majority Leader Tom Daschle, could memorably share a heartfelt hug on the floor of Congress in the aftermath of 9/11, surely Trump, Pelosi, Schumer, and everyone else can be expected to offer nothing short of full mutual support. Whether an ordinary citizen or one in the realm of politics or the media, can we not reduce our thinking, just for now, to what each of us can do to help? For better or worse, we have only the man in the White House upon whom to rely for the leadership required at this never-to-be-forgotten juncture in American history. And we all have more time on our hands for deeper thought these days. So why not take a minute to contemplate in a hopeful and prayerful state the same question about President Trump, which was asked in the biblical account of Queen Esther, heroine of the faith, after she accepted the charge to protect the most vulnerable at a time of great peril. Who knows whether he has not come to the nation for such a time as this?